Well, it's great to be here to celebrate Gibraltar Day with the people and the government of Gibraltar, and a wonderful location for it here at the Gherkin in the City of London. And I've just been talking to the Chief Minister. I know that now the Gibraltar protocols to the withdrawal agreement have been pretty much settled. I think Gibraltar is in a good place. I think one of the great things about it now is that Gibraltar and the British people can be on the same page now, looking ahead to the future opportunities outside the European Union. And I'm absolutely certain that Gibraltar, as Britain, will thrive. We are great people, we have great history, we've got a huge amount of talent and ingenuity and ambition and entrepreneurship. So together, I think we've got a great future. We'll just be doing things slightly differently.
So Graham, I have to ask you about what's happening within the Conservative Party at the moment. There's a huge amount of infighting. How are you going to be able to unite the party?
Well, these things are very difficult. I'm not saying there is no division, but I think people should always take with a pinch of salt what they read in the press, much of which is made up or exaggerated. So these are difficult times, they're complicated times. We of course have got the complexity of the Brexit negotiations going on, and that is made 3 times as difficult by a situation without a majority in the House of Commons. Those are just the realities that we have to work with. But I think my colleagues are mostly looking at the situation we find ourselves in, recognising that it's not a time to fall apart. For people in my party, certainly, the prospect of risking a hard left government coming in is something we can never forgive ourselves if we allowed it to happen. So I think the party will actually hold. I think we'll pull together. I think it's looking increasingly likely that we might get a sensible, moderate agreement. It won't be what all of us would love to have. Everybody's going to have to give something in this, but Britain leaving the European Union, resuming control over our own laws, not having that supremacy of EU law over British law, being able to control our borders, our fisheries, our agriculture, all of that is a very, very big win. And I think Britain will be a happier, more comfortable country as we come through that and start to focus again on the real issues that are domestic priorities and the challenge of making a reality of that ambition of global Britain, being again a more outward-looking country, and of course our overseas territories, Gibraltar right at the forefront of them, is going to be a key part of that vision.
Graham, I understand the need to focus on the positives. I understand those positives, but still there is the question over Theresa May's premiership. Has the committee asked to see her?
No, and it never ceases to amaze me. The things I read in the British press, read over the weekend she'd been summoned to appear in front of the 1922 committee. Of course, she's got a standing invitation. She's very welcome to come if she would like, but in our diary, in the agenda, we have the party chairman, Brandon Lewis, scheduled to come, in particular to talk about election campaigns for the local elections next year. If the Prime Minister would like to bump him out, we'll happily move him to another week, and she'd be very welcome. But as of today, my expectation is that the party chairman will be at the 22 on Wednesday, as had previously been arranged.
Do you foresee, there's a lot of talk of a vote of no confidence, do you foresee that actually gathering momentum?
Well, I'm in a difficult position. I have a constitutional role within the Conservative Party. It's in the hands of my colleagues. If they choose to have that confidence vote, there's a mechanism to make it happen. I think that the complexity of doing it at a time when negotiations are ongoing, at a time when if it were to result in a change of leadership or a leadership election, the consequence could be a very long period, certainly several weeks and probably 2 to 3 months, while the country wasn't clear who was Prime Minister. I think a lot of colleagues are very concerned about that. But I'd also say, not just in Parliament, but outside, whether people are huge fans of Theresa May or not, they don't have to agree with her about everything that she does. I think there is immense admiration for a woman who has shown herself to be incredibly tough, really focused on serving the public and the national interest, and almost entirely without ego.